Apologies in advance for the background noise on the microphone. I didn't think my microphone would pick up my fan, but at least now I know it will and it shouldn't happen again. Welcome to the video. I am DeanoGTO and today I'm looking at World of Tanks 2.0, just giving my general impressions of the game as well as talking about a line I'm grinding through. As you can see, it's the second, technically I guess third American heavy tank line. Personally, I don't really count the T-57 heavy line because it's only two vehicles, and then a medium tank before that, and then medium tanks before that, so it's a bit of a weird heavy tank line. But this line is a full heavy tank line. Starts at tier 6, goes all the way to tier 10, all heavy tanks. There's no doubt about it, it is a heavy tank line. Although, slightly different type of heavy tank. They're more on the mobility side, more on the flexibility side. Just unfortunately, at least this one, the gun is not great. It's very powerful in terms of its penetration, in terms of its rate of fire and stuff. The rate of fire feels quite good. Penetration feels quite good. Dispersion and aiming time feel abysmal. They feel really bad. So I'm looking forward to moving on to the tier 8, but this is not a bad thing by any means. I mean, I didn't expect to like the tier 6, and I had a couple games in this thing here where I think my ace tanker game in this was over 3,000 damage, which is wild. Like that game was kind of mental though, because I was pretty much just firing the gun every time it was loaded, bar like a 30-second period in the middle, like just fire, 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 fire the entire time. It was a pretty good game, but it was very out of the ordinary. This thing here though, like it feels quite good for the most part. However, this weak point on the top does kind of spoil it. If you're going to have issues in this vehicle, it's going to be this. I'll be honest, I have thought about it a couple of times. I've thought about going back to the stock turret, because the stock turret has a significantly smaller, I guess, cupola / machine gun port on the top. And if you're using that, I can imagine that would make the tank feel a lot more durable. But you lose health, you lose gun handling, you lose what you call it? You lose penetration on your stack rounds. You lose a lot of things to get that, so I don't really think it's worth it in the grand scheme of things. So to me, I'm going to stick through it with this because I'm halfway through the tier 8 grind now. I just need to sort of stick with it at this point and just try and get it out of the way. But it is a bit brutal whenever someone just... There's nothing worse than whenever you're firing at someone and you're missing your shots, their weak points, and then they're nailing your weak point every single shot. It can be very frustrating. And that's pretty much what happened to me in the last couple of games there, unfortunately. But the good games in this thing do come, and I think my record for damage for this thing so far is like 3,500 for tier 7. That feels quite good. Only reason I think that wasn't in the ace tanker game was because I died. Unfortunately, got rushed by, weirdly enough, 2 Stura meals. A vehicle you don't even see very often to begin with. But yeah, I got rushed by 2 of those and I died, so that was a bit crap. But whatever, what can you do? Next thing to talk about, as far as the reward for playing World of Tanks 2.0, the free tier 10 tank line. I used mine on the German SPGs just to get them out of the way because I had everything else in the German tech tree done. I just need to get a couple modules unlocked on this tank and this tank, as well as on the HWK12. That's all I realistically need to do. Then unlock the tier 11s. That's pretty much the German line complete for me, which is pretty nice. I also don't expect this tank tree to really be expanded upon any further. Like maybe they could add a wheeled vehicle line, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. I could see that being a thing because I remember that was like one of the original ideas I heard about back before the French wheeled vehicles were added to the game. Because I think what was it called? Was it called the Panther? But I know there was a World War II wheeled armored vehicle that no, sorry, not the Panther. Puma, that's it. I think it was called the Puma, and it was one of the more like famous like wheeled vehicles that people were aware of. People were kind of surprised that the French got a wheeled vehicle line first. At least back in that time when they first released. Otherwise, the only other thing I've done is I've used my blueprints to unlock the T92 HMC. I really couldn't be bothered going there and grinding out to the T92 HMC. I just don't feel like playing artillery anymore. So I just used the blueprints I had lying around, just got this thing unlocked. So that means I have now got 2 tier 10 artilleries I can use if I need them for missions. That is the only reason I had them unlocked. Otherwise, I'm pretty much not going to use them. That actually reminds me, I forgot to sell those, but I'll do that after the video. The GWE 100 I might keep just for the sake of having a tier 10 artillery in case I need one. But otherwise, I'm pretty much just going to forget about them. Just purely for collection purposes. Now, as far as like War of Tanks 2.0 goes in general, I don't mind the change to the layout. The change to the layout is fine for the most part, although it does feel weird that your settings button is now at the bottom right rather than top left. It's completely opposite corner to where it was before, but I'm getting used to it. It doesn't feel that bad. As far as trying to find modules and trying to find your stats and stuff, I tend to find I click on the crew to get the old school stat screen up, which isn't too bad. It's alright, but it's not the greatest thing in the world. But let's jump back to the garage. You can also see it using this as well, but because the font is bigger, it takes up more. It takes more scrolling to get through the entire list, so I don't really bother to use this one. That's just a couple of the ways you can sort of get to the more old school layout. As far as the research progress for vehicles go, it's a bit strange now that you have to click on a button to then be able to see the research button, when that's always just been a button on the top right the entire time I played the game. It's always just been a button right here. So it's strange that that's changed, but I'm sure it's something I'll get used to over time. It doesn't feel too bad, but this is a nice addition to the game in general. Like, I actually didn't realize how tough this thing's armor was until I was looking at this. Like, this thing actually has pretty decent armor. It's actually reasonably tough. So I'm kind of impressed by the armor profile of this thing, and if I hadn't looked at this, I probably wouldn't have realized just how tough this thing's turret technically is. The only issue is well, this. Other than the machine gun turret on the top, this thing's armor is actually quite good. And it has 76mm of armor all across the side as well, which means it can do side scraping. It just would probably prefer not to. I mean, you can see there. Although actually, wait, I'm just noticing there, that says 55mm. So it's 55mm there, and then it's 76 as you get higher. That's an interesting potential issue. I will keep that in mind, although that is kind of protected by the tracks, so I guess that nullifies that to an extent. But let's jump into a game here before my boosters expire. I would like to get through this tank somewhat quick, just because I don't really want to deal with the the weakness on the top anymore. The weakness on the top can be very irritating. But what can you do? The armor otherwise does feel quite strong. Only other issue is the gun is quite derpy. The aiming time and the accuracy, it's deceptive. It's not as good as it may look. Like, according to the stats I have, it says that the accuracy is like 0.37 and the aiming time is 2.3. Aiming time feels much longer than that, and the accuracy feels much worse than that, which is why I found I play this thing at very close range. Only time I play this thing at long range is in a tier 9 fight. Otherwise, close range all the way. So I'm going to head to the south here, because that means I should be able to use my gun depression a little bit to try and conceal that weak point a little bit. Doesn't work always. It can actually sort of backfire on you a little bit when you try to use your gun depression, because sometimes this is still visible even when you're trying to hide the rest of the tank. Like, the rest of the tank can't be seen, but the machine gun turret on the top is still visible. It can be a bit crap when that happens. But this thing does have pretty good mobility for a heavy tank. I do like playing it so far. It's just a bit different of a playstyle. Kind of reminds me of kind of like the old Centurions, but not really on the same level as far as like mobility, and not really on the same level as far as turret armor. Then again, it is a lower tier vehicle than the Centurions. see, am I going to get here before? Nope, there's someone else here. I will try to get a shot at this guy. There's Tiger 1 over there too. Tiger 1 with 240 alpha. I thought Tiger 1 had 280 alpha. Also 3002D is already firing gold, great. It's a great start to the match. He was there, oh no, he moved. Tell you what, the VK 3002D does have a lot of health, doesn't it? For a medium tank, it's quite healthy. I mean, if you look at it, like, I mean, he may have a health booster on, but that's as much health as an IS. I did always like the VK 3002D. Loved the mobility combined with the rate of fire on that 88mm gun. It always felt very potent. This is not looking great at the minute. There's a lot of tanks hiding in the background. See, can I see this guy? No, the angle is just not working from here. Oh, 3002D is still over there. Whereabouts is he? Must be there. Can't actually see him though, that makes it a bit awkward. He is firing gold at me continuously though. Can't see him, but he has stopped firing, so I probably hit him. Oh yep, I hit him twice, I think. That's nice. I fired too far ahead. I thought he'd be going a bit quicker than that. But remember the 3002D being quite a fast vehicle. Oh great, get shot in the side by a stair weapon trigger. That's not great. Yeah, the stair weapon trigger can rip me apart. Okay, I'm getting shot from more angles than I'm expecting. Need to hide a little bit. Probably gonna open myself up to a shot from that VK, but I kind of have to position myself a little bit better here. Lost quite a lot of health just trying to deal with that. Oh, he's on the other side of the house. Great. So he must be like there. And the artillery is now blasting me too. This is not going well. Let's try and position himself a little bit better here. Okay, that's the VK dealt with. I do kind of need someone else to spot, however, everyone here is on low health bar the KV2. That is less than brilliant. Can you wait for someone else to spot now? I want to avoid moving around too much just so that I don't get killed. That weapon trigger absolutely ripped through me there. Was he firing gold rounds? The weapon trigger's firing gold rounds? Well, why is he firing gold rounds? At this tier, his penetration's actually really solid. I can't see either of those guys. Am I behind a house? Technically, yes. I'll stay here for a second just to... I really would have thought I would have had that guy visible, but I guess that's a taller area than I think. Right, let's try and position myself a little bit better here. And in fact, there's an artillery. But yeah, you can probably see what I mean by the aim time. Aim time takes about a century. It feels real bad. Wait, really? The tiger's there? That guy really did not want to push forward at all in this game. Okay, yeah, managed to avoid getting whacked by him. Hellcat is on fire. Great, killed by artillery at the end. Fantastic. I think I did a bit more damage than the game is suggesting. I think I probably touched around 1500 damage. Not great, but not the worst. Do get games like this sometimes though, where you can't really do a massive pile. Unfortunately, like I didn't realize how vulnerable that side was. Just getting sniped in the side the entire time was kind of brutal. Yeah, and there's all that stuff there that has run out. Another use of the ×5 mission. Could have had a better game to use that on. Unfortunately, because I died, my XP got, I think, cut back a little bit. But let's try one more game, see if we get a slightly better one to finish off on, because that's a bit crap. I think it did showcase the issues with with the aiming time and the accuracy on this thing a little bit, because whenever you try to, like, you can't snapshot with this thing is what I've determined. Trying to try and snapshot with this thing just ends poorly. You can't just sort of drive around a corner and just fire immediately because the gun will miss. Like, the gun's accuracy is just so... It's so... what's the correct term? Unreliable. But otherwise, the dynamics of the tank feel quite good. As far as like the other tank lines, like I'm sort of trialing this line as like whether or not I continue like sort of going through stock rounds on vehicles. Like the Pollack tank and this so far haven't been too bad, which I don't mind. Like I remember going back and doing the farm the XP for the different vehicles to go through and unlock them fully to get all the upgrades, like make them as strong as they can be. Used to be one of my favorite things to do in the game, and like gradually unlocking like the potential of a vehicle over time always felt really good. I think this is kinda what I'm doing at the minute. Oh, that's actually not sure what country those SMV things are from. Of course you managed to shoot me. Seriously, even he shot me in the... Oh right, no, he hit me inside the turret. Right, I was about to say, there's no way he managed to hit that machine gun at the top. If he managed to whack that, I'd be raging. I don't actually know what nationality that thing is. Probably the only tank with a worse weak point than me. You know what, I saw that guy fire. I'm gonna try and head down here. Seriously, I bunched on A43. But you're firing gold rounds too. What is with the game these days? Like, you really can't play this game the way you used to with standard rounds. It just doesn't work because you just get blasted by everybody using gold rounds. Nope, managed to make a bit of progress forward at least. Reserve track thing doesn't actually feel too bad in this tank either. Like, it's actually come in handy a few times for me so far already. And it's only the first tank that gets access to it. Because it's allowed me to back out of a situation where I was facing the absolute worst direction possible, and I was pretty much guaranteed to die. So it's nice that I'm able to sort of help myself from dying as quickly. The SMC or SMV thing must have run away. He can see me before I can see him 100%. This thing has 5 head. I almost guarantee you there's a tank destroyer to my right. Artillery is over there. FE304 though. So he is just peppering me with damage. He's not actually trying to... Well, I don't know. Does that thing have the ability to stun? I think it does. For some reason that one isn't. It's a bit unusual. Let's try and make my way forward here and see if I can get a bit more damage into this game. Definitely has more health than it used to, from what I recall. spot. Oh, it's Scorpion. Oh, that's not good. Whip that shot, great. At least I managed to land a hit on. He has a tier 8 as well, so... Okay, yeah, I'm gonna back up out of that because that could end poorly. Oh, no, never mind, TY9 killed him, sweet. So all that's left is a T-29, another artillery, which I'll let other people go and find that. Prefer to... Oh, he's there. I wasn't expecting that. And suddenly M44 just said no. Great. But you can see what I mean with the way the gun feels, trying to like fire on the move, trying to fire without the gun being aimed, it just doesn't work. But the tank's mobility, the tank's flexibility, probably the better way to put it, does work quite nicely. You know what, I'll boost that up a wee bit just to get a bit more XP, just so I can get through this thing a little quicker. Might actually be able to get to the tier 8 by the end of the day, which would be nice just to have the tier 8 unlocked, because it does seem to be a wee bit of an improvement as far as the handling goes on the tank. I mean, you can see the aiming time, accuracy gets better, and tap gun actually stays the same. I'm surprised by that. Do wonder how that's going to work, the whole situation with the turret as well, because generally the turret upgrade will give some like minor stat boosts to the standard gun as well, so that should be interesting. But yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this thing out with a 90mm and then the 105. The 105 should be fun. What's the reload time? 8.9 versus 6.4. Yeah, that's a noticeable increase in rate of fire from the tier 7. I do think the 105 will probably have to be the choice with the tier 8, because 90mm gun, the tier 8 is a bit rough. I've been experimenting between this thing here and this thing here. The T-26E5 Patriots and the T-34. T-34 is a lot easier to get higher damage games in, but this thing has a much higher ceiling because of how much more often it can fire. So I guess it's kind of up in the air as to which one I'll pick. But so far, World Tanks 2.0, interesting. It's been a nice change of pace because the games are a lot more fluid at the minute. Hopefully they're able to sort of maintain the player count, maintain the differences in like the way people are playing at the minute in comparison to the way they usually play. Because I think that's one of the reasons why the game gets stale, is you play every game the same way. And when you play every game the same way, you're just kind of like, what's the point? So yeah, I guess that's everything I really have to say at the minute. Let me know what you guys think of 2.0 so far, because I think it's alright at the minute. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect. There are issues. It does feel a bit strange having the new layout, but for the most part, I think the feel of the game is pretty okay. I do need to try out the story mode, the Operation Boiling Point thing, as well as the Onslaught. The Onslaught game mode, I haven't really played that in a long time. I think Onslaught's the one with a whole bunch of, what you call it? It has a whole bunch of tanks at the same time. I think you respawn in that one, if I'm remembering right, but it's been a long time. I can't remember. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good one.